Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Old Reader, New Reader with myself, Amanda, and Maddie and Omar, our old reader, resident old reader. Today, we are going to be talking about Superman for All Seasons by Jeph Loeb. Art by, is it Tim Sale?
It is Tim Sale. You are correct.
Yeah. So, for those of you who are not familiar with this comic, it's pretty much a different origin telling of Superman, Clark Kent, whatever one you want to call him. It's set in 4 different seasons. The narrators, it's told from 4 different narrations. None of them are actually Clark Kent or Superman. It's all people within his life, like his surrogate father, Jonathan Kent, his two love interests, Lois Lane and Lana, and of course his arch nemesis Lex Luthor. And so it's an interesting take, one that I read in one sitting when I first picked it up about a week ago, and it is a lovely, different version of just a superhero origin story. So, who wants to go first, talking about what they think? Maddie?
Yeah, I'll jump on it.
Sure.
Jump on
I
it, Maddie.
Jump on
it. I'm always really happy to read any Superman origin story. Honestly, there's nothing like reading a good old Clark Kent become Superman, and like, because no matter which way you write it, there's always a new view you can take with it, and it was really nice to see it from other people's point of view than his, and how they deal with him changing, or how they deal with Superman coming to Metropolis with Lois, or how Lex deals with him. It was nice, and I don't always read books where they mention Lana Lang that much, so it's always nice to see her too. And I love the art. I love chunky Superman. Somebody called him in the chat. I like when they
He is
have him like that, because
Superman.
it shows you the difference, I think, a lot with it shows you how he can just look like this normal dude, right? So you see Clark, and he just seems like this bumbling country boy, and they do such a good job of connecting him, with Clark's roots with Superman's morality, and how all that goes together, and seeing how excited he gets when he realizes what he wants to do with himself and his abilities. Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It was a nice, quick read, which is great sometimes to have, and I think I'll definitely keep this in my arsenal for when I want to recommend Superman books to people, because I think, as I've discussed before on the show several times, I'm a new convert to Superman. I love him so much after years of thinking he was so bland and vanilla. And this is definitely a great, follow-up to any other Superman book.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
Awesome. So I'll kind of give you my take as a this is only my second Superman I think I've read. The first one was the All-Star that we read earlier a few months back. Was it a few months? I think it was.
Yes.
So I've essentially gotten to read his death and an origin story. There we go. So I've gotten the two bookends, nothing much in the middle, but
well, keep in mind, All-Star Superman is also not in the
canon.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if this is anymore, with all the damn rehauls that DC has done. Every time they end a universe, they seem to relaunch everything. So I like to think that it still is, but it doesn't matter.
Well, aren't Superman's origins basically the same? Usually, I mean, there's not a big difference.
But much like Batman, a lot of it has been retconned. Like, year 2 is no longer part of the Batman canon because of Long Halloween. And I know a lot of people are happy about that, but I'm not, because I love fucking year 2. But this, I think this still is, and I don't know about Superman Birthright. Honestly, doesn't matter. It was written. It's a great story. Sorry to interrupt, Amanda. Continue.
No, it's okay. That's a good little interjection there. But no, I liked the narration in it. I liked seeing Superman from different viewpoints. Seeing him through other people's eyes, because I think that's really important. We don't get to see that a lot, at least in what we've read so far, or what I've read in my comic journey. I haven't read a ton of those. I know they're probably out there, but I just haven't read a lot of them. And I like seeing how other people view him. And I like that Lana knew about his powers. I really did like that. I mean, not that it reminded me of Smallville, but since it did focus a lot on him going back home and him seeing his parents, because that's my first Superman experience, that's what I kept going back to. But I agree with Maddie talking about the way he was drawn. I really like that. Because even though they're two separate characters, Tim Sale did a really good job of separating them. Like, you can see like the difference between Clark Kent and Superman. And even though it's the same person, and it wasn't that he changed any physical attributes or anything like that, it's just little, tidbits, whether it was his clothes, or the way he composed himself in a certain scene, you could just tell the difference between his two alter egos. I thought that was awesome. And I loved Lex Luthor's part. I think that was fascinating to see it from the supervillain, the arch nemesis, his viewpoint, and the way he went about trying to take Superman out of the picture. I like that as well. So overall, I mean, it was a great quick read, like Maddie said, and I'd read it again. I think I already have, just to catch myself up. So it's definitely a recommendation for me as well.
So how did you feel about, Amanda,
Yeah.
the way Lex Luthor was drawn in this? How did you feel about his characterization,
well,
look-wise?
He wasn't like, it was different. He reminded me of some business moguls that that I've seen in real life, right? Yeah. He had a lot of similarities to them. These people who you might think are, they on the outside they say they're trying to do good things, but in reality they just want power, and that means not doing the right thing. So I thought his characterization, even though I was expecting bald Lex Luthor, a younger bald Lex Luthor, I was completely fine with this portrayal of him. I thought it was perfect because he was even slimier than I could have imagined.
Oh yeah, way slimier and much less charming.
Oh,
because Lex Luthor is very he's bald and stylish and charming in a way that he's still,
yes.
I don't know how to describe it. But this one was like a palpable difference. He was very I feel like if I touched him at all, I'd feel slimy.
Yes. Like, whenever Lois was in a scene with him, I just felt disgusted for her.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Lois, girl, please don't go near him."
Why are you going with him? Yeah, he was. This is definitely one of my more favorite portrayals of him, surprisingly, just because, yeah, he's different than what I'm used to seeing of a Lex Luthor character. Yeah.
So, Omar, going back to this, how did you?
Both of you really like this. It always makes me happy when we choose a book and I end up enjoying it again, and then having you two be like, "Oh yeah, this was great," makes me happy. It makes for. I do want to run into an episode where I'm like, "God damn, what was I thinking? This book sucked," and both of you are like, "Oh my god, this was wonderful." Not that both of you sound like that.
Well, so, I am curious at one point, if you ever want to read Lumberjanes, I want to see what you think about it.
Yes, we can
I love Lumberjanes.
Make that into old reader, new reader, and I'll be the new reader for once and not be the old guy. I think that this is a good representation of what Superman really is. Like, a lot of people, much like Maddie, I don't think Amanda thought this way, but a lot of people hate Superman without having read any Superman, or have just read like a couple of appearances by him, right? They think of Superman as the Boy Scout that does no wrong. He's like the perfect superhero.
Yeah.
But in this, you kind of see he has a lot of flaws, and his flaw just happens to be that he cares.
Yeah, too much.
He has all this power, and he chooses to do good with it. That's the point of the story, right? That's bare bones. That's what it is. It's a story of how good of a person he is. He's not even a human being, and he is the best human being we have. It's wonderful. I love it. I love the fact that I forgot, honestly, that this was written by 4 different characters. So the first one's written by Jonathan, his dad, right?
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, his human father, And it's his time in here. I'll show some of this wonderful Tim Sale artwork if you have not seen this book. Um, so it's his time in Smallville, right before he takes off. There's this wonderful moment he has with Lana Lang, where he reveals to her that he can fly and he has all these powers. And another classy move, Maddie, just like Junji Ito. No upskirt shot. Very classy. Doesn't ruin a great picture. I love how huge he is compared to Ma Kent. So adorable.
It is adorable.
I mean, that picture right there looks right out of the 30s. Like that's
yeah, it is.
Just wholesome, good, beautiful artwork, and it's crazy. Like I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that Tim Sale is colorblind. So a lot of the picture, I know he didn't do the colors in this, but a lot of the painted art he did for the show Heroes, or for a lot of the Batman stuff. Like I'm like, how is he that colorblind? It makes no sense. So I don't know how he sees images like this, like the one I just showed. And then the second story is done by Lex Luthor. Yes, I say it just like 80s movies, 70s movies. Oh, I can't. Yeah, I think this is a really good jumping on point for people. It shows who Superman is in a cute and loving kind of way.
Yeah. I liked it because it didn't also bog you down with any of his Krypton mythology. None of that mythos was in there. I mean, we know he's not from Earth, but it doesn't matter. We don't need that. And the only mention of anything that's kind of Kryptonian is the Fortress of Solitude that that Lois mentions, that Clark says that's where he probably goes at the end of her segment. I mean, there's
and
really
the twist was like that he wasn't going there.
No, he was going home, which I think is an awesome parallel to show. Yeah, it's like this is she says this Fortress of Solitude, but it's really his parents and back in Smallville. And I just thought, what a great parallel to put that there together.
I love this picture right here to take on Action Comics 1. It's very cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely love this. I think it's a good book, not to just anybody that is starting to read comic books, but anybody that hasn't even read a comic book, because it's got pretty artwork. I think it's a good book to show anybody that is remotely interested in reading a comic, because this is what makes me happy that I still read comic books like this. And this wholesome relationship he has with Lana. That's so cute. Going back home, and he's like, he's depressed in the city because Lex kind of embarrassed him, and he accidentally caused the death of that one girl.
Oh, poor.
Which wasn't even his fault. Yeah, which wasn't even his fault, right? That's just Lex Luthor being the manipulative asshole that he is. And by the way, this is the way Lex looked in the post-crisis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is how he looked right after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then, I'm not even going to get into that mess after he died. Clone. Bald. Then we got the bald classic Lex Luthor after that. Faked his own death. Then transferred his brain into somebody. Comic books. Comic books.
Comic books. That's what makes it easy to read.
Great, yeah. So this is, I definitely recommend this for anybody. Oh man, this wonderful relationship he has with his father.
Yeah.
A tear to my eye. Oh, and the dog.
Yeah. and Pete was an interesting character in this too.
Yeah, he's in the comics, Pete Ross.
Yeah, I know but it was just he was an interesting character because he was the one who always talked about wanting to leave, never did. Lana and Clark both did. Then they come back, and he's just mad at them for, why'd you guys come back here to Smallville? Like, he doesn't get it, I guess. And he just is trapped, and he was an interesting character. It made me want to learn more about Pete Ross and, where he would go from there. What future stories they tell with him.
There are some, and once again, like, comic books just get convoluted with what happens to Pete and Lana. Like, some bad things and then some good things. I
Well,
like
now she's Superwoman.
I was gonna say I like it simple. I like it like this Norman
Yes.
Rockwell painting kind of world that Smallville is. That's where Lana and Pete should say. But I love this. Yeah, beautiful. And there's this one
It
panel
really,
that Tim Sale keeps going back to. It's the one where he's laying in bed, no matter where. Yeah, this one right here.
and he's
Mhm.
thinking.
Yeah, like whether it's at home, whether it's in the city. I love it.
Mhm.
So I'm glad whoever suggested this in the group. Thank you, because this was a great reread.
It really was.
I can't.
It has a lot of
I
great
don't think
quotes
talking
too.
about it really can do it justice. This kid is an idiot though. The one that keeps falling off the buildings. Haven't you learned your lesson, dude? What is his name? Trent? Trevor? Is it Trevor?
There. What would that poor kid do?
I think it is. It is Trevor because Superman's like, "You dumb bastard! What are you doing running up here?" I love that scene though. He was like, "Cool costume," and Superman's like, "Thanks, my mom made it."
Yeah, that's adorable.
That's his character. That's who he is.
Yes.
This
That's what it's funny though, actually, as I was reading it, now I can see why. I mean, obviously this came out in 98, right? So
yeah,
after
late 90s.
well after Christopher Reeve's portrayal, but when I read it I could think, yeah, now I can see why everyone always says like Christopher Reeves was the perfect Superman, because if this is it, that's what he would be a Christopher Reeves to me. So I see I would see where they're coming from on that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve, like for us anyway, that grew up back then, I think that
Yeah.
was our Superman. Not to say that Henry Cavill or um,
Brandon
Brandon Rouse were horrible. Actually, Brandon Rouse played a hell of.
Superman.
No, he made a good Christopher Reeve playing Superman. He didn't really make a great Superman, but he made a good Christopher Reeve Clark Kent playing Superman. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes
Which
sense.
one was this guy?
What's that?
Is this the guy that plays the Atom now, or is that
He's
different
Adam.
guy?
Yeah, he's the Atom.
He's a great Atom, though. He's a great Atom.
I think when Maddie and I talked, I hope that when they do this Elseworld thing, we get to see him in a Superman outfit. Because damn, that would be cool.
That'd be great.
Well, apparently Barry and what's his name switch bodies. That's now
Oliver?
what I think. That's what Oliver. I think they switch bodies. That's where they're at.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any of it other than the promotional posters and things like that. But I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to see that in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, this was cute, wholesome, perfect. 10 out of 10 for me. What did you ladies think? What would you give it?
Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me as well. Because like I said, before I had went and just bought it off of Comixology, read it, and then the next day you're like, okay, guys, I have this on the drive. I was like, oh, I'm already done. Because it was just, I picked it up and I just read it, just could read it right through. It was such an easy read to me and very compelling. I loved it.
I agree with you, Rick Nelson, but not a lot of people do. What about you, Maddie? What would you give it?
I couldn't help but keep comparing it to Superman Birthright, which is still my favorite.
Art by Lionel Yu. It's a little different than this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's great, but I think maybe 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Not that anything's wrong with it. Just I'm not leaving it with.
It's not as good. It's not as good as Mark Waid's Birthright.
It's not effective.
You interviewed him, so you're being a little.
No, it's not because I interviewed him. It's just because I think it's a good story. It was cute. I had a good time. It was short, and that's great. It was short and to the point, but I didn't leave it. I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I didn't leave it be like, oh yes, this was great. It was just like, this is really cute. It was a good Superman story.
So Clark Nato is asking if anyone's talk about the references to Loeb's son.
I'm not familiar with that.
So Sam, this is a really sad story. Sam fought cancer for a very long time. That was his young son. I can't remember how old he was, but he ended up passing away right after No, it was right before Michael Turner passed away of cancer, who was also an artist. So Jeph Loeb always kind of writes his stories of like fathers and sons. Now he was still alive when he wrote this, but they found out that he had cancer. So a lot of the parallels between like Pa Kent and Clark are like Jeph and his son, like the way that I'm sure he would have loved to have
conversations with him. Yeah.
It's really sad, and you see a lot of that in his writing. Like, there's a lot of books that he has written that will make you tear up, like Spider-Man Blue or a lot of the Batman stuff that he wrote. It's
Mm.
it's really powerful stuff. He's a good writer. Like, when Jeph Loeb wants to be, he is a phenomenal writer. And then he wrote things like Red Hulk and whew, Nova.
So we won't be reading that.
Well, as much as I love Nova, and I know what I mean, it's hard to talk about Nova because,
like Nova.
well, it's not Dick Ryder,
Uh,
not Richard Ryder. Sorry, Maddie.
It's not my man.
It's the new character named Sam, who he named after his son, which I think is wonderful. But yeah, I don't. I mean, the writing was just not Jeph Loeb when you compare it to the stuff that he's done in the past. Not like this.
Yeah.
More on par with, hell, not even on par with the stuff that he did for Hollywood, like Commando. But you know,
Yeah.
I know that some people like it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, 10 out of 10. Maddie, 8 out of 10. I get it. And Amanda, 10 out of 10. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely. Now I have a question. Quick question. That Jenny Vaughn toxin, is that a real villain? Is she a real villain, or is that just something they made up for this story?
I can't remember. I thought she was another character, honestly, when I was reading this. I don't think she is, but I could
Who
be
do you
wrong.
think she was? Oh. Yeah, because I was like, wait, are there any like callbacks or anything that if you kept reading Superman, you would know about? Like that character was one of them. I just didn't know.
Oh, like Easter eggs and things that he
Yeah.
would put on here?
Mhm.
Not that I noticed, not off the top. Maybe.
Okay, it was more of a
um,
standalone then.
Yeah. So, Rick Nelson, that issue of Batman and Superman, I think that you're talking about. Actually, let me go get it, because that one's kind of special to me. Actually, that one's really special to me. Hold on. You ladies talk amongst yourself for a second. You have the channel.
All right. Amanda, I need you to watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh, I know. That one I have to catch up.
Season 3 is so good. I just skipped over season 1 and started season 3, but it is the most
Can
comic
you
booky.
skip over season 1 and just go to 3?
Yeah. I mean, do you watch the other shows on CW?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to. You're fine.
Yeah.
Season 2 is good too for when I watch, but I was watching along with season 3 and
Yeah.
watching that one more religiously. And the crossover, I sobbed out loud for a good 20 minutes.
Okay,
It
which
was good.
Aliens, is that the crossover in season 3? Which one is that where they crossed over
So-
with the other ones?
They cross over every time, but season
Yes,
2 of Legends is one with the aliens. Season 3 is one with the Nazis.
That's right. Okay, that's right. I was trying to remember which one it was. Okay.
It's really good. It's really fun. It's very quippy, very superhero-y. I really recommend it. I know we're talking about Superman, guys, but Omar left, and I need to tell Amanda to watch this show, so I hope that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, I need to catch up on Arrow this season too. I've been doing The Flash because I'm interested in Nora, and I need and Cicada, but yeah, I need to catch up with Arrow to see.
You gotta get on Black Lightning, though.
Are y'all talking about comic books?
We're talking
about comic
books. I'll leave you two alone. You're talking about CW shows, right?
I need her to watch Legends, okay? And Black Lightning. If you guys are watching, in the audience, if you are, please watch the Legends, but also please watch Black Lightning. Thank you.
There you go. There you go. You heard it from Maddie. So this is very special. This is the issue that we're talking about. This is the one that Jeph Loeb wrote right after. Actually, this is written by Sam Loeb. This is his son that wrote this. This is after he passed away, and it's an issue that he wrote. He didn't get to finish because, like I said, he passed away of cancer. So everybody, a bunch of people joined in to help him, like Joss Whedon. And this is also signed by Michael Turner, who passed away of cancer in 2008. Oh, I forgot I had this too, signed by him. So yeah, the thing is, I actually have two of these signed by Michael Turner and Jeph Loeb and Rob Liefeld. And I think for one of our giveaways, I'm going to give one of them away because they're very special. So
wow, that's That's
it's very meaningful
thing of you.
But I got one copy. I'm good, and apparently I had Supergirl signed by him too, and Jeph Loeb, and Michael Turner. Yeah, who sadly passed away. Yeah, back in 2008.
Wow.
Those
Chad, see that? Coming. Giveaways are coming, apparently.
So what were we talking about? CW. You two are loving
tomorrow,
CW.
and I need to watch Black Lightning and catch up on those. Then I'll be all caught up on my DC universe in the CW shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch this last episode of Titans too, Maddie?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know if you're waiting like other people and just watching them all in one fell swoop, or if you're watching them every Friday.
I'm keeping up, and I'm still.
I heard it's getting better.
The last episode when Robin fought. Oh well, spoilers, I guess.
Spoilers.
When Robin came out in that uniform, and they were all like, "You're Robin!" Like, I don't know. It
was pretty cute. It was pretty cute.
Excited. I'm not gonna lie. It made me kind of excited.
I thought you said uniform. I thought you were spoiling the fact that he changed into Nightwing.
No, I mean, that's gonna happen eventually. It makes no sense he's not already like that.
Exactly, it's gonna happen. Maybe after next episode. It is named Jason Todd. I'm sure for a
reason.
reason.
Just wondering when they're gonna kill off Jason Todd and how they're gonna kill him off, and if it's gonna be shown like off screen, like in the
question.
It would have to
Maybe
be.
Next season.
It would almost have to be shown off screen in order for it to work.
Yes,
because he's not part of the Titans.
Can I say my only gripe about that?
I have a lot.
The sex scene between Starfire, by Corey and Robin was so PG. When the violence is so R, it made me mad because that was what I was looking forward to, and it was not even there.
What do you want to see? Penetration?
She wanted to see Starfire titties.
Join the club, Amanda.
Or something. I don't know. I wanted a little bit more than what I got. Which
Just say it.
I do feel like it could have been steamier. Spoiler alert, I guess, everybody. It could have been steamier.
Well, I'm done with that show. No need for me to watch it if they're keeping the sex PG.
I'm just waiting to see my girl. A few more episodes so I can see Donna Troy. And they'll ruin her, and I'll be so sad, but I'll be so excited to see her on the screen. So,
who knows what they'll do with that character?
It'll be good. Hopefully.
They'll probably mix her origin with somebody else's because the showrunners are like, okay, give us all the Donna Troy comics. And they're going to give them like 50 variations of Donna Troy, and they're like, we don't understand this character at all.
The best thing they could do with her
origin and just make it into Lilith.
I think the best thing you could do with her is do the most interesting thing for that show, for what they want, is for her to be Wonder Girl who ends up secretly being a weapon against Wonder Woman. Because that's the most like edgy origin she's got.
That is pretty edgy.
You think they'll go that route?
Yeah, and they'll do Troya, and then she can be a villain of the show, and I'll be really upset because I hate that origin. So it'll be great.
And Psycho Cleveland is right. America is great.
Awesome.
They show sex, but they can... Oh, come on. Look how offended people were when you saw Janet Jackson's boobie. Not even both. Just one nipple.
I know. Just one.
Now nothing can be live anymore. Now everything has that 4-second lag.
1 second? I thought it was 10
seconds. Even this show right now
is delayed. Me and Maddie have already shown our boobs at least once, and y'all don't even know.
Patreon, fellas. Patreon.
They're not here for us, Amanda. They're all here for Omar. We all know this.
I have shown my chesticles quite a few times. Patreon or super chat or whatever.
God, what?
How do we go from a wholesome story like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's a short book, so we said our piece. And now it's like
that's why we have to read Omni, so we don't
go through my favorite quotes, like a couple of favorite quotes.
Oh yeah, what were some of your favorite quotes? You obviously wrote them down, so go ahead.
Wrote them down. Hold on. I like the part where Lois Lane was talking about Superman, and she goes about how secretive it is, like she can't find out. And she goes, "As a reporter, it's maddening. As a woman, forget it." I love it. That was great. My favorite Lex Luthor was, "Being the most powerful man in the world means nothing if you are all alone. No one knows that better than I." That was a great line too.
Yep.
Very true. And then my last one was the pastor. about the seasons, which obviously, since it was during winter, so it was during that last season, right? The final one they talked about. We can be grateful for the seasons, no matter how cruel or harsh they may seem, for it is only through their passage that we can truly appreciate the future. And I thought that was very fitting for the
I think
story.
he might have taken that from the Bible. I'm not sure if he. It's, it sounds like a pretty Bible passage. That's why I'm thinking. Definitely not Lois Lane's line or Lex Luthor.
Yeah, if
Not in
that
the
was
Bible.
well, Lois Lane was pretty funny. She still kills me for such a good reporter, how she can miss all the obvious signs.
Oh, but I love the fact that when she's sitting at his desk and playing with his name tag, and there's all these little dots like Superman can be ...
Yeah.
Really, Lois? You're like the best reporter ever. Yet you suck at your job.
What's right in front of you?
Well, and then she even says like, "Oh, he just takes off at all the appropriate times."
Yeah, it comes back with a story about Superman saving some small town with a flood from a flood. How is that possible?
Yeah.
Lois. Yeah. Lois.
Okay, so what's next? What are we talking about next?
Guardian Devil? Is that right?
Guardian Devil. Yeah, that's the next one.
I'm excited for Daredevil.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I haven't read it since I got like that was one of the books I got like right after I started rereading comic books again, and it was that New X-Men and something else, maybe one of the DC books, JSA or something like that, and that was one of the books. I'm like, oh, Kevin Smith's writing comics. Hell yeah, I'll read it. A lot different than the tone he has in like Mallrats.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it is Daredevil, so I guess that's to be expected.
Right. It's pretty dark. Same thing with his run on Green Arrow. I mean, from the start, Ollie is dead at the beginning of Green Arrow. So that's a good run too. Just saying.
Hey, I'm all down for some Green Arrow.
Yeah, I know Maddie is too, but I think you wanted to read Lemire's run, right?
Is that the New 52?
Yes. Yeah.
I've got that actually, so that would be convenient. But I'm open to reading some more Green Arrow runs. Just because I'd like to read more about the character too, and not just because I'm in love with his sidekick.
I didn't know. What Arrowette?
No, you know.
She's talking about, obviously.
My boy. Listen, my boy. I don't care how bad the comics look. I'll still buy them. I don't care. Look at this. Look at this garbage.
She loves it.
Wait. Show that again. Show me that one right there. Is that Mike Wieringo? No, that's not Mike Wieringo. God, that it looked like him for a minute.
I don't know. Grayson Mays Martin and Story. It's like a 4-issue Arsenal run.
Devin Grayson wrote that. Yeah, she's hit and miss. All right, so while we have Guardian Devil next Tuesday,
yes,
on the 20th, we need a book for the 27th. So
okay, when we get back, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we'll be back from Thanksgiving by then. So what does everybody in the chat think we should read? What's a good book we can read in a book in a week? What? No, you threw me off.
Maybe we should read something
Psycho Cleveland. Gosh, I didn't. I think it was beautiful. Okay, so Psycho Cleveland saying I heard Omar hated the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia finale. I didn't hate it. I appreciate what they did, and I think it's wonderful that Mac like trained for like 2 months to do the finale. But I think that it didn't keep up with the spirit of the show, and that's you can be preachy and be funny at the same time. Like, remember the whole God? I can't believe I'm talking to fucking Psycho Cleveland. Give me a second. The whole God versus science thing that Mac did. That was wonderfully cheap, like so preachy, but also funny. So it kept with the spirit of the show. This was all. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Like I said, I think it's beautiful, but it didn't feel like It's Always Sunny. Anyway, that's how I felt. Sorry, Maddie, what'd you go run and do?
I don't know. Let's read Red Sonja. I was trying to see
what she's read something that's not like a Marvel
DC or Marvel.
do it like something independent, if you will, or something different.
Oh, you want to do an independent book?
Yeah, like Lumberjanes.
We could do Lumberjanes.
Paper Girls, Red Sonja.
Paper Girls too.
Or read. We need to read. Can we read some with the lady?
Yeah, I don't think they make comic books with women. They do that. They sell comic books with girls.
I mean, this is our second Superman book, and we haven't read a Wonder Woman book yet.
I am outnumbered.
Just saying.
Yeah,
I know, but Wonder Woman has this huge run. You can't I guess Earth 1 would be a good one.
Are there any?
Earth 1's really good.
Because there are just most of the Wonder Woman stories are usually long arcs.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a quick book, because Rekka would be the one I would recommend.
Yeah, and that's a huge story arc. Like, I couldn't tell you to just read the first volume, because you don't get the payoff until like at least volume 3 of some of those stories. Wait, I thought you said you wanted independent. Look, people in the chat are suggesting Stan Lee.
Well, yes, and yeah, we haven't. Have we set our minute of silence for Stan Lee yet too?
No, we dude.
It hurts.
I missed out on Omnibros last night, and I didn't say my piece about it, but it's weird. It's one of those things like when like a musician dies or something like that, and it kind of affects me in the way, because nobody will be able to replicate that voice. I think that's the way Stan Lee was. Whether he did a lot of things in the past that people find questionable, but if it wasn't for him, I mean, I wouldn't. Some of my favorite characters are Marvel characters, like Spider-Man and the X-Men. I mean, the guy was co-writing some of those, co-creating them, and I don't think I would be who I am today if not for him and all those guys from the Silver Age. So I got to meet him once, and I got him to sign one of my favorite issues of X-Men. Awesome. And this is Uncanny X-Men, the day the X-Men died. Spoilers, they didn't. But yeah, this is one of my favorite treasures. This is signed by John Byrne, Chris Claremont, and Stan Lee. So now it means a lot more, because I didn't really have anything for him to sign. I just remember him kind of flirting with the girl behind me. That was really cute in the Stan Lee kind of way.
Yeah.
But yeah, now he's gone. So rest in power, Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. So yeah, we can go that route and read something that he wrote, or we can go something independent, like Maddie suggested. Being that it's almost Christmas time, I would almost encourage you to read Klaus. Yes.
Yes.
It's so
I know some Christmas stuff. I was wondering if there were any like holiday themed comics we could read.
There is a couple of DC holiday books. Like, I think there's one that just came out last week, and they had one last year too. It's pretty cute.
Yeah, they usually
different DC Christmas stories.
They usually do a Christmas thing every year.
But as far as Christmas stories, Klaus is like one of the best ones.
Is that the one by Grant Morrison?
Yes, and it is fucking awesome. Like,
it's like they take one of those like stop motion animation stories that they always say on Christmas, but makes it with like super cool, handsome.
You mean the
Santa Claus?
Can we do that? Because that sounds fantastic.
I will tell you this: that my wife read it in one sitting, and then my daughter read it, who was 8 at the time, because I'm like, I think it's safe enough for an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
And she loved it too. So
yeah,
it's like a family book that we've all read.
He's so handsome.
I would really like to read that. If not for the 27th, sometime in December, because it is the holiday season and I'm all about the holiday spirit.
Well, we can kick it off early with Klaus then. How about that? Klaus for the
Yay!
I was leaving it up to the chat. How did we even get on? Everybody's like, man, fuck these guys. I've been suggesting things like Wicked
I'm
and
going to call
Divine.
that episode Hot Santa. Old reader, new reader reads Hot Santa.
I'll let you do the show notes.
Santa is going to be that Kurt Russell Santa that's coming out on Netflix.
Ooh, that looks so good. Once I saw that, I was like, man, I really wish why can't we have Klaus? Like,
yeah, why can't they
that
do
show?
You know it's gonna happen. You know it's Grant Morrison.
Jason Momoa.
I was even Kurt Russell would be awesome in that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, because we got picked up by. We've got Happy, which is probably the least Grant Morrison book I've ever read. It's more like a Garth Ennis book. That got picked up for I think it's in a mini series, if I'm not mistaken, by Sci-Fi. And then we're getting Doom Patrol, which I know is not his creation, but I think they're gonna borrow a lot from his run.
I'm definitely excited for Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
looks really good.
Yeah, me too.
Looks like good in Titans.
Oh, it was great. It was the highlight of that episode. I think they brought it up so early so they could show you, hey, I know this show isn't great right now, guys, but listen, here's the Doom Patrol, and they're really good. So just stick in with DC, please, because eventually we'll have this show, which is better than what this show is right now.
I still don't know how they're doing it since it's only available on their app and only to the people in the U.S. I still don't know how they're doing it. Like,
I don't know.
Just like financially, I'm still kind of up in the air on how this is working out. But, I don't know a lot of people who subscribe to the app. So that's
why season 2 is going to just take place in the dark, in the same place, like Detroit, just Detroit. It's going to be really cheap, and Detroit's going to look a lot like Canada. Really cheap to film. We're going to have a lot of bottle episodes of them just sitting around talking.
That sounds like a CW show. Now, what do you think?
That sounds like a better show than what we've got. So
wow. I agree.
Really? It's that bad? Like I stopped that episode too.
It's not bad.
I'll go back and finish it.
I'm still not a fan of Rachel. I just don't know why.
Oh no. And Starfire's still great. I just don't care about anybody else still. Like I can see the charm of Beast Boy. I'm glad that he's there, but he's not funny enough to bring this group together in a way that makes me like them.
Nope.
Robin, I'm still not into, and he still feels so young to me, so I feel really weird when he's like, I'm a cop. And I'm like, I don't think so. Go home.
You're so ageist.
He just looks,
young guys can't be cops. This is the real world.
And he's just, like, I don't see Dick Grayson being like that. I understand that there's times Dick Grayson is just as, like, broody or whatever. It's Batman, fine. But that's not how I see him, so it's hard for me to get on board with this.
Yeah.
Like, I get you're hurt. I get you're in a new stage of your life. But my Dick Grayson is still kind of, like, positive and fun while still being this, like, boring leader guy. You don't have to be like this. I don't know. Yeah. And they're just... It's too edgy. Wow. But not edgy. Like they're trying to be edgy and it's not good. It's one of those.
Oh, they're trying really hard. It is. They're trying really hard.
I'll still watch it. I mean, I watched, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina with you all. So.
Hey, that show's great. So you're welcome.
And it's a holiday special.
Holiday special.
Calm down. I'm just kidding. I ended up liking it.
Me and Maddie will be watching. And probably talking about. So.
I love holiday episodes of everything. I love holiday versions of everything. So I'm very excited.
Good. Holiday versions of everything. That's one of our show topics coming up on Near Mint Condition.
It is.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about that.
Episode there, Maddie.
Yeah. I had to plug it now because I'm not going to be on that one.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Maybe in spirit. Okay. And then we can just say, this was Maddie's idea. You can take all the credit.
All right, that's cool with me.
Yeah. All right, so here's some recommendations from the chat. Wicked and Divine, which I didn't. Is that over? Does anybody know if that's over? I thought that was still ongoing.
What?
Wicked and Divine.
I thought it was still ongoing.
I did too. I'm trying to keep I would love to do Saga, but actually we could do Saga because Saga is going on a year-long hiatus. If
Well,
it's
we can
not
always do
already.
something like a different kind of epic, like long epic, non-DC Marvel story, like Fables or something too.
That's still
Like it.
DC. That's
What?
Vertigo. I said that's still DC. That's Vertigo.
Oh, I don't count it, I guess.
Because okay. Ray suggested Nowhere Man. Psycho Cleveland said Lemonade Man, which apparently is a manga. I didn't even know Psycho Cleveland read manga, but he said he doesn't discriminate. So very proud of him.
I do think, though, at the beginning of December, before that new Spider-Man movie comes out, we need to read Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Because that comes out.
Wow, so you want to skip like Ultimate Spider-Man, and jump like 125 issues?
The 14th.
Because I will
So
say
we would have to read that like for the 10th.
Because that, like, the Spider-Verse isn't really based on anything. I mean, it might just have gotten the name from that crossover, but it's got nothing to do with that.
I just want to know. I just want to read about Miles Morales because the only thing I know about him, the only stuff I've seen about him is while I've been playing the Spider-Man video game, which is great, and he's wonderful. I'd like to read about him now because I think he's wonderful. That's it. That's all I know. And I'd like to go into the movie prepared. Now the show feels like a good reason to read topical things as they come out.
Okay. Okay. So, Ultimate Spider-Man Miles Morales. Let me see what kind of where to start reading that, because I kind of want to start reading it with the death of Spider-Man, of Peter Parker.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Because that's where that story kind of begins.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'll think on that one. When do you want to do that one?
Well, the movie comes out the 14th, so of
Before
December.
that.
So yeah, like either read it by the
11th
or the 11th.
That'd be fine.
Okay, so we have one for the 27th, and then we'll need something for the 4th. I thought Infinite Crisis was, or no, we were going to do Kingdom Come. Ooh, we should do Kingdom Come on the 4th.
Okay.
All right.
Wow, I'm just okay. Wow. Okay.
As long as we get started on at least some part of Infinite Crisis
and then
before the
after
end of the
that,
year.
we will focus on Infinite Crisis.
Yeah,
until
okay.
like, I am so done with these DC stories. I want to go back and read Marvel. And actually, they, in the chat they mentioned Stan Lee, but I would love for you two to read some of this like Silver Age stuff to see what you think of it. Have you read any of that, Maddie? Any of that stuff from that long ago? It's a lot different.
Like, well, what constitutes Silver Age? Like, what timeline?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I think the older I get, the changes.
So, Infinity Gauntlet does not count, right?
No, I'm not that old.
Sure, I don't know where we're talking about.
I'm thinking
but I just don't know where the cutoff is.
Well, I guess what would be considered the Marvel age or the modern age. No, hell, it can't be the modern age. I was thinking the 60s, like 61, 62, 63, 64. Those years.
I've read some Wonder Woman.
Oh.
And by some, I mean I tried, and I was like, I cannot read anymore.
That whole time when she was like a secret agent and Fu Manchu and all that, oh, I tried to read that stuff many years ago. I mean, I think it's cool, and then with her cool white outfit that she had, but I leave that stuff.
Oh, you mean when she didn't have powers?
Yeah, I leave that stuff to Jess.
Yeah.
Like,
I just don't think. I mean, I'm open to reading some stories, but I'll be honest about it right now that I just don't think it's gonna work for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everything's so text heavy.
Oh my gosh!
For no reason.
I'll read some old Spider-Man, maybe, because I love Spider-Man, so I could probably get through it.
Well, the Spider-Man stuff was written by Stan Lee. I don't know. It's not everything was text heavy. I guess it depended on the writer, but I know what you mean. Everything. I mean, we had huge caption boxes.
Yes.
That pretty much told you what the art was doing. Yeah, writers these days don't know how to. Pretty much. Yeah. Now it's like the art tells you what to do.
But that's why you have the art there in the first place.
God, I can't wait for you two to read Watchmen. That's gonna be interesting. Because that's like reading a novel.
Yeah, I read that. That was great.
Oh, you already read it?
Yeah, it was okay.
Watchmen was okay. Wow. I'd love to know what you think about that.
Here's the thing, though.
Did you skip the captions?
What?
Did you skip the captions and just read the dialogue?
I don't remember. It
Or
was forever ago.
did you skip the actual middle
No,
story?
I read it.
Okay, go ahead.
But like I think there was a big hype on that book. Especially when I was like, for most of my life, there's always like the Watchmen is it, right? So everybody who reads comics, like if I'm reading a comic in a restaurant and some guy comes to hit on me, he's gonna bring up the Watchmen.
Yes.
I
You
have
like
never
graphic novels,
used that
and you
line
must
on
have liked
any
the
woman.
Watchmen. It happened to me like 3 weeks ago.
You must read.
I'm just reading Gem and the
Are we
Hologram. I was
sure
like,
he
okay,
wasn't nice? Like he was just trying to stir up a
no,
conversation, and this is the
you can
way
tell.
you.
You can
Wow.
tell.
Okay, dude was hitting on you, and he brought up Watchmen. Okay.
I mean, I like it. I like it, and I like the story and everything. But it's not. It was a trudge to get through.
Is this what you say to the guy to break his heart? Yeah, I'm not into.
No, I was nice. It was nice.
I'm into more like Bendis style of storytelling, like not
Wow.
not a lot of words.
I like words. It's just man. It's just it's not great for my eyes. Like,
I don't know. I think
am I gonna get kicked off the show?
no, you're
Everybody's
not.
gonna stop watching.
No, you're not.
Because I don't know. A lot of people agree with you, kind of, Maddie, on the Watchmen thing. So if we don't read it, I don't think anyone's gonna have a heartburn over it.
I mean, I'm still excited to read like all the related stuff.
Like what? There shouldn't be anything related to Watchmen. Doomsday should never be a thing. No.
I know.
No,
I
love
need to know what happened though, because like the Watchmen is the key, basically, to what's going on in Rebirth right now.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting to figure out how that works.
I don't even. Are they still pushing that? I thought they kind of stopped.
Well, Doomsday Clock isn't done because we still have, I don't know, however many issues left, and they keep like pushing it back and stuff because there's 12 total, and I think we're only maybe halfway through that. So I don't know. Because
what Cleveland says, this is like when my wife tells me, "For whom the bell tolls is just about the bridge." Yes, this is exactly like that.
Oh wow!
It's okay for me to just feel okay about it, guys.
It is. I just can't wait to read that, and then after that, we read Bendis, like New Avengers, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is the best comic book I've ever read." And then
I just want to read one Bendis just to know.
Yeah, I want to read Bendis just because
it's true what you say, and
I just want to hear Omar.
You're not a fan. I just want to see first.
Here's the thing. What if I reread it and I'm like, oh my god,
I was wrong?
This is amazing. I was wrong.
It's possible.
I mean, it's possible. That could happen. And then I reread Watchmen and I'm like, I don't have time to do this.
I heard Bendis' Superman's really good.
Yeah, from Mark Waid. I still don't believe him.
Mark Waid told me, you guys, my friend Mark Waid.
You talk to that guy one time and you take his side with Bendis, whatever. I bet he could be like, "Hey, Maddie, you need to read Watchmen," and you'd be like, "Yes, sir, I will."
No.
You won't argue with Mark Waid about how wonderful Watchmen is.
This is kind of out of control.
Yeah,
it has done a good job.
This is what happens when I don't even know why I'm picking up for Watchmen. It's not even in my top 10 favorite comics.
Yeah, what happened to you? You're just like
this is the way I would feel if like somebody was saying Uncanny X-Men by Claremont wasn't that good. Then I would take that to heart. Or Starman.
I want to read Starman.
Looking at my wife.
I want to read Starman.
Everyone should. And then you can be like, man, this book sucks too.
I've got the first omnibus on my shelves.
Philip Evans said Wade said on Fangirls, Watchmen is awesome.
Oh, he did. Well, he said that it has I forgot the best setup. He uses that as an example.
It's got so many,
the way it's laid out.
So many layers though. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to reread. I've read it just a few times. I've read it I think three times, and that's probably not enough for a comic book fan to read. I remember it took me a long time to read it though. And especially the last time I reread it was when the Absolute came out. So that was a few years ago. God Lord, that was I think 10 years ago. Man, time just flies. Okay. So Guardian Devil for the 20th.
27th. Oh, no, the 20th. Yeah, you're right. Ignore me.
27th is Klaus. Klaus.
Klaus.
Like Santa Claus. And which is a great book. I can't wait to reread that. On the 4th, what did we decide? Some Wonder Woman?
You said Kingdom Come. You said
Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come, yes. So those are... And then we'll start diving into the Spider-Verse right there. What did we decide? How are we reading Ultimate Spider-Man before? That's okay. We read All New Superman before we read.
Should we do like Volume 1 of the Ultimate Spider-Man, like the Miles Morales? Or
yeah,
you're gonna pick something.
Let me see what kind of chunks of the trade paperback. There's Ultimate Collections collected.
Okay.
And I'll make sure I'm ready by the next recording session.
Sounds good.
And one day next year, we're gonna read Watchmen, and Maddie can watch it and be like, "This book sucks."
I don't want to read it again.
Aren't they making it into a TV show on HBO? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
Is that what you want to wait for? How are you excited for that if you didn't like the story?
Let's wait for the TV show. Well, because I can be excited about it. It doesn't mean I didn't like the overall story. I just don't want to read it again.
There you go.
Okay. You're too young to be that cynical, Maddie. You got all this left.
Oh no! I'm losing all my friends.
Yeah, they're all like,
I thought everybody that watched the show is my friends, but no, they don't.
I can't wait for comic book guy to watch this and see what he thinks.
No,
Maddie's still cool. Omar's still.
Listen, I'm still open to it. Now I can never say I didn't like anything ever.
So this
is what I get.
This is what happens when you read comic books and you push Red Hood and the Outlaws on people for a long time and then say Watchmen.
I don't. All I do is say that I like it. I'm not pushing anybody. Okay?
Yeah, but like
what I am pushing is Red Sonja by Gail Simone.
Okay, that I'll give you. That's a solid book.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
What was your? Hey, why don't you show your find that you found at Half Price Books today?
You guys, I was having a bad day, and so I went out to Half Price Books, and I found
most women go shopping for shoes and purses. This is amazing, Maddie.
Yes.
And I found this Dragon Age Library Edition Volume 1 by Dark Horse. Wow. I'm a huge Dragon Age fan. There's my husband, Alistair. I got this for $50, and I think I looked online because I was double checking because Volume 2 comes out next month. I know that's like $35, so I thought this would be cheaper. I looked online. Sorry. And it's like selling at a low of like $800. It's out of print. So I did it, you guys. I got a good find today.
That's awesome.
So, and we'll see how good it is. I know that Volume 2 Library Edition comes out next month, and Rucka writes on it, and so I'm super excited about that because I love him. So we'll see. But yeah, I want to read more Rucka. Put some Rucka on the list for next year, Omar.
Yes, ma'am. I was busy typing back a message. Somebody was asking what they missed, and I summed it all up by saying, Maddie said,
wow.
This is great.
Okay, listen. Oh my gosh. Oh, Mike recommended Sunstone. That's that like erotic one, right?
I don't know. Let me Google image it now that you said erotic.
He's like, wait, let me just check.
Because I have what is it? Oh, I don't know where I put it. But I think I have something else by that author.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think it is something along those lines. I'm looking at it on Comixology, and it looks a little, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute now.
No, Omar's changed his mind.
Maybe instead of... we would need Jess on that panel because he loves titty books. So that's his expertise. Like, wow, what is Sunstone?
Yeah, Sunstone is smut, Philip Evans said. Yeah, I read Sugar, which is one of the newer ones by those authors.
Yeah, but
they get the same kind of universe.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, the art feels very like it reminds me of a Korean manhwa.
Is that the guy that does Rat Queens? It looks like the art on Rat Queens. I could be
Are you looking
mistaken.
at the cover, the art in the book? I think that Stefan something
Yeah,
does some of the covers, and I love him.
he did Aquaman, didn't he? He's
I
got a
know he's doing some
hardcover,
of the Titans covers.
and he has a hardcover that just came out recently. Yeah, that art is gorgeous. It's Top Cow. That's who's doing.
Yes,
Top Cow wouldn't publish
Jeph.
what? They've done fine literature like Witchblade. They wouldn't publish.
I want to read Witchblade too.
What? Why? I was kidding.
I thought you
I
liked Witchblade.
I like her outfit. I don't think. I don't think I don't think I have ever read a Witchblade comic. And I own the compendiums. I just like the art. I'm an artist kind of guy, Maddie.
Oh, artist kind of guy, not a boobs kind of guy. I see.
Have you met me? No, I'm the other type. All about that booty. Somebody recommended, and I'm trying to find if I have it. Queen and Country. I do have Queen and Country. That's a good Greg Rucka book. I haven't read that in years. It's got Tim Sell on covers. Can't not remember who did the internal artwork though. Big Ass Sin City. Oh, that's a great book. Lame Works, you are more than welcome. I'm glad that these two ladies enjoyed it as much as they did.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it was a nice reread. All right, ladies.
All right.
Who wants to sign us off?
Sure. Well, since I started it, might as well.
Wrap it up, Amanda. Do your thing.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. And remember, we have lots of stuff coming out the rest of this week. We have an episode coming out on Thursday, right? Is that correct? Black Friday? Yep. And then we'll have a new Reels talk on Saturday. We'll follow it up with next Tuesday is Guardian Devil. So stay tuned and come hang out with us for that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, not Twitch. I don't know. Maybe soon. Who knows?
Tinder, Tumblr, Twitch. I'm just naming things that I have no idea how to use. All right.
Showing our age. Anyways, thank you, everyone, and have a good night, guys.
See you guys.
Bye, everybody.